It's 11:43 p.m. You're in bed. You open the app. The number on the screen is zeros, not negative, not positive, zero. Exactly zero. You did the math right this month, paid everything, missed nothing, fell behind on nothing, and you have nothing left. You lie there in the dark with the phone screen lighting up your face, thinking about whether zero counts as doing okay. It does. It doesn't. You close the app. Level 1, Dalper. The number didn't get there by accident. You tracked it. You moved $47 to cover the electric bill on the 14th. You moved $23 back when the gym charge cleared early. You knew down to the dollar where everything went. That's not carelessness. That's precision under pressure. The problem isn't that you don't know how to manage money. The problem is there isn't enough of it to manage. You check the app not because you forgot, but because checking feels like control. It isn't. But it feels like it. You open it at 7 a.m. before work. You open it at lunch. You open it before bed in the dark. The number doesn't change between checks. You know that. You check anyway. There's a word for this, but it isn't irresponsible. It's what happens when the margin for error is 0 and one wrong charge, a subscription you forgot, a fee you didn't see coming, turns zero-y into something worse. You're not bad with money. You're just living at the exact edge of it. Every single day, one unexpected bill away from the other side of zero. Zero isn't the bottom, zero is the edge. Level 2, $1,400 a month. The money comes in on Friday. By Monday, most of it is gone. Not because you went anywhere, not because you bought anything you'd call a luxury. Rent took $750. Utilities took $140. Groceries took $180. The minimum payment on the card took $65. You did the math before the paycheck even landed. You do it every month, the same math, the same result. What's left is $265. That has to cover gas and the copay you've been putting off and the birthday dinner next Saturday you already said yes to before you checked. You said yes because saying no requires an explanation. The explanation is a number, and the number is embarrassing. So you go, you put it on the card. The minimum payment next month goes up to $72. This is not a spending problem. You are not buying things you don't need. You are buying the appearance of a normal life, and normal costs exactly as much as you make. Sometimes more. The $400 doesn't disappear. It distributes. Rent gets its share. The utility company gets its share. The bank gets its share. Everyone gets paid before you do. And by the time it gets back to you, there's nothing left to keep. You're not spending money. You're just passing it along. Level 3, $35,000 a year. Something changed. Not everything, but something. You stopped checking the app at lunch. You still check it in the morning. You still check it before any purchase over $40. But lunch you let go. That's not nothing. That's months of rewiring. The rent is still tight. The car is a 2009 with 190,000 miles and a check engine light you've learned to ignore. But there's $1,000 in a savings account that you have not touched. You put it there in February. It is now October. 8 months of not touching it. You don't tell people about it because it sounds small. To you, it doesn't feel small. It feels like the first thing you've ever built. Your friends think you've figured it out. You make $35,000 a year, and they say things like, "You're doing well," and you don't correct them because the correction is complicated. Doing well means you haven't missed a payment. It doesn't mean you have room. One medical bill, not a big one, $800, the kind that arrives 6 weeks after a routine visit, and the $1,000 is gone. You know this. You've run the scenario. So the $1,000 just sits there, not growing, not moving, being preserved, because touching it means starting over. And starting over at this point feels like more than you can afford. Stability and security are not the same account. Level 4, $85,000 a year. You got the raise. You got the better apartment, the one with the dishwasher and the parking spot. You lease a car that doesn't have a check engine light. You go to the restaurant instead of checking the menu prices online before you go. These are real changes. You are not imagining them. But somewhere around month 4 of the new salary, you notice that the account looks roughly the same as it did before. Not because you're careless. Because everything expanded to meet the income. The rent went from $950 to $1,400. The car payment is $387 a month. The gym is $85 instead of $25. You eat out 3 times a week now because you can. Each individual decision made sense. Collectively, they rebuilt the exact same pressure at a higher price point. You are not paycheck to paycheck, not technically. There's $2,300 in checking at any given time. But the number doesn't feel like safety. It feels like a different kind of tight. You make more than your parents ever did at your age. You have less saved than you think you should. You don't talk about this because from the outside, the life looks fine. The apartment looks fine. The car looks fine. You look fine. Nobody sees the $387 leaving every month. Nobody sees the credit card that's sitting at $4,200 and not really moving. You upgraded your life. You didn't upgrade your margin. The more you make, the more normal expensive becomes. Level 5, $300,000 a year. The first thing that changes is not your life. It's other people's behavior around you. Someone at dinner lets you pick the restaurant now. A cousin texts asking if you know anything about Roth conversions. A friend mentions they've been thinking about investing and looks at you when they say it. You didn't ask for any of this. But it arrived with the income. The house is real. The savings are real. There's $47,000 in a brokerage account that you check less often than you used to check your bank balance at $0. The anxiety is different now. Lower frequency, higher stakes. You're not afraid of the electric bill. You're afraid of making the wrong decision with the $47,000, of picking the wrong fund, of not diversifying correctly, of losing in one bad quarter what took 18 months to build. You have a financial advisor now. You pay him $2,400 a year. He sends quarterly reports you read carefully and understand about 60% of. The problems got more expensive. The apartment is $3,800 a month. The accountant is wanting $100 a year. The life that looks successful from the outside cost more to maintain than most people make in total. You are not complaining. You know what the other side looks like. You live there. But there is something nobody tells you about this level. The thing that runs out isn't money anymore. You have 7 meetings this week. You have not had a free Tuesday in 4 months. You would trade $800 of it for one afternoon with nothing scheduled. Money stopped being the emergency. Time took its place. Level 6, $2 million net worth. The number sounds like an ending. It isn't. It's a reclassification. The world has a word for what you are now, millionaire, and the word carries a specific image. Private jets. No alarm clocks. Options. The reality is a $680,000 house you still have a mortgage on, with $390,000 in equity. A $340,000 retirement account you cannot touch without penalty until you're 59 and a half. A brokerage account with $280,000 in it that you are afraid to move because the market is doing something strange. This quarter, and your advisor used the word volatile, twice in the last call. A car. A few smaller accounts. Add it up and yes, it crosses 2 million. On paper. In practice, the liquid cash, the money you can actually use on a Tuesday without consequence, is $43,000. You are a millionaire who thinks carefully before booking a $6,000 vacation. Not because you can't afford it. Because $6,000 is still $6,000, and the number still means something even when the net worth says it shouldn't. This is the part nobody maps out. The identity doesn't update as fast as the balance sheet. You grew up in a house where $6,000 was 2 months of rent. That house is still inside you. It runs a background check on every transaction. The financial advisor calls it wealth mindset work. You call it Tuesday. There are people who look at your net worth and see a rival. You look at the $43,000 liquid and see a number you've seen before. Smaller, different context, same feeling. The comma changed. The caution didn't. $1 million sounds like a rival. It's actually just a different kind of math. Level 7, 10,000 net worth. Something structural shifted. Not emotional, structural. The money is no longer a destination you're trying to reach. It's a system running in the background. The brokerage generates enough in dividends each quarter that you could live on it without touching the principal. You know this because your advisor showed you the numbers in a spreadsheet on a Thursday afternoon and you nodded and said, "Good," and then drove home and made dinner and felt exactly nothing. That's the part that surprises people who haven't been here. You thought crossing this number would feel like something. It felt like a Thursday. The alarm still goes off at 6:47 a.m. You still go to the office, not because you have to, because you don't know what you'd do with a Tuesday that had nothing in it. You tried it once. Took 3 weeks off in March. By day 11, you were checking emails. Not because of the work, because the work is the last remaining structure that tells you who you are. This is the identity problem that lives above $10 million. Nobody talks about it because complaining about having too much money is its own kind of embarrassing. But it's real. You spent 20 years building toward a number. The number arrived. The self didn't update. Your friends from before, the ones from the $400 a month years, you still have some of them. The dynamic is different now in ways neither of you say out loud. You pick up every check. They let you. Nobody mentions it. The money sits between you like a third person at the table. You don't know how to move it, so you leave it there. At $10 million, the money works. The question is whether you still do. Level 8, 100,000. There is no app. There hasn't been an app in years. There is a person. Her name's Claire. She has an office on the 14th floor, and Claire manages the people who manage the money. You don't check balances. You get summaries. One page. Every Monday morning. Numbers that have stopped meaning anything in the way numbers used to mean something. At 00, a number meant dinner or no dinner. At 100,000 ounce, a number is an abstraction sitting inside another abstraction. The house in Colorado is managed by a property company. The apartment in the city is staffed. Someone restocks the refrigerator on Tuesdays. You have not bought your own groceries in 4 years. You didn't decide to stop. It just became one of the things that got handed off, like scheduling, like travel, like the 1,000 small decisions that used to fill a day and now happen without you. This is what nobody tells you about the infrastructure of serious wealth. It doesn't feel like luxury from the inside. It feels like distance. Distance from the friction of ordinary life, the waiting, the deciding, the small frustrations that turn out to be the texture of being a person. You are insulated from all of it, and insulation at a certain thickness becomes isolation. There are 14 people whose job involves your comfort in some capacity. Not one of them will tell you something you don't want to hear. You are surrounded and alone in a way that has no good name. The money stopped being something you have. It became something you live inside of. Like a structure, like a system, like a weather pattern that follows you everywhere and makes it impossible to feel the actual temperature of anything. At $100 million, money is no longer something you have. It's something that has you. Someone is in bed right now. It's 11:43 p.m. The phone's screen is lighting up their face. The number on the screen is yours. They did everything right this month, paid everything, missed nothing, and they have nothing left. They're not thinking about Claire on the 14th floor, thinking about Colorado. They're thinking about whether $0 counts as okay, whether surviving the month is the same as living it. They close the app. The screen goes dark. The room goes quiet. Outside, the same city holds all 8 of these lives at once. The edge and the infrastructure, the zeros at midnight and the Monday morning summary, the fear of touching $1,000, and the people who manage the money. Same city, different weather. The number changes. The night doesn't.